Hey guys, Jexi here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I thought I'd get a little bit more personal with you guys and share with you about how sometimes I just feel really lonely in recovery. Recovery's been a roller coaster, and that's for sure. When I first got clean, I was living in Southern Maryland, and about 6 months after I got clean, my friend Michelle, real name, I'll double check with her, make sure it's okay, also began our journey in recovery. If she allows me, I'll post pictures, but always ask permission first. But yeah, so her and I got really, really close. In fact, the first time that I had ever spoken to her, I didn't know her yet. I got a call from a guy friend in recovery, and he says, I know this girl who's really, really struggling. I think, I told her I'd call you and see if she could call you. She really needs a female in recovery that she can talk to. Can she call you? And I said, sure, of course. So she called me and she said, hi, my name's Michelle. And she told me how she was going to a Renaissance fair and she had just stopped using and she was really worried that this was going to be a real trigger for her. So I'd given her some suggestions. I said, first, make sure that your husband knows how you're feeling throughout the entire day so that you're not ever dealing with these feelings alone. I asked her if there's something that she does that like brings her comfort, and she had said listening to music. I said, well, maybe if things get overwhelming at the festival, you can, take your headphones, go to the parking lot for a little bit and listen to a song or something that calms you and then go back. So I don't remember exactly how long after that was when I actually met her, but when I met her, it was like, oh my gosh, you're the girl I talked to on the phone. And we clicked like right away. And she's a bit older than me. She's actually, let's see, she's probably a little under 20 years older than me. But like the age didn't matter at all. Like not even a little bit. We were like best buds, like my ride or die in recovery. And I felt like no matter what was going on in my life, like I had her. And, we both had our ups and downs. And, I really felt that no matter what, like we could help each other get through anything. And she was a huge support system for me in my recovery. Like I told her everything. Like there was not a lot of people throughout my recovery that I really opened up to and told everything, like especially about like what was going on in my marriage and stuff, but she knew everything. And it was good to have somebody I could talk to like that. But then in 2017, as you guys know, I left Maryland to come to New Jersey. I left my marriage, I left everything behind, and I had a really hard time with the fact that I was leaving Michelle behind. I know she struggled with it as well. Uh, and as much as we talk now, sometimes it's just not the same. Like we spent all the time together, right? Like not only did we go to like a recovery program together, we would go geocaching together all the time. We lived right on the beach, like where the Chesapeake Bay was, and we collect shark's teeth, like fossilized shark's teeth, like regularly. She was always at my house or I was always at hers. Like we did everything together. And there's a big change when you go from doing everything with somebody because you can talk to someone on the phone, right? But it's not the same intimate relationship as when you spend time with them in person regularly. And I know we both felt that break, like we both felt saddened by it. I mean, luckily, like I went to a convention back in April and she went, we stayed in the same hotel and we got to spend time together. It was awesome and it felt like we had never left each other. So I say that because when I came up to New Jersey, although I had grown up in New Jersey, I have family in New Jersey, I have tons of friends I have like close friends in New Jersey. I have a couple friends from high school that I still talk to regularly and we're very close. I have two girls and a guy that I've been friends with since the two girls I've been friends with since like sixth grade, and the guy I've been friends with since sometime in high school, and we're all still very, very close to this day. And so it's not to say I don't have any friends, and I want to be clear on that. I'm not like a friendless person. I don't want anybody to watch this and be like, wait a second, I talk to you. I don't mean like that. Um, I I have great relationships with people. But in recovery, since I've left my old area, I have sometimes felt very lonely. I can tell you that I didn't want to make new friends in recovery. I miss my old ones. It takes time to build intimate relationships with people, especially ones that are based on recovery. And to start over And to be able to, what I've learned about talking with other people in recovery is we get very vulnerable with each other. We share things that we may not share with other people. And so there's a trust in that relationship that takes time to develop. And I felt like I had lost that. And I felt like it was being, like people are like, oh, well, you got to get to know people. You got to start, developing a network up here, and you got to, get people's phone numbers and talk, let other people know where you're at. And it's like, yeah, I get all that and I agree. But it's not so easy to do, especially when you're hurting. Like I don't want to make new friends. I mean, I do, but I still have this feeling of like, how am I ever going to have a friend like Michelle? Right? Like, how am I ever going to be able to get that vulnerable with somebody? The closest friend that I've had to Michelle in my life was one of my friends that I'm still friendly with today. We met in 6th grade, and we in high school, like, we were together every day without fail. And that relationship was everything to me, and I'm grateful we're still friends. And but being in recovery and having to share about my feelings regarding recovery with somebody is hard. And the reason I'm doing this video today is over the weekend there was a situation where, like, those feelings came up again. I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes I'm really good at like pushing back feelings. Like, not like even convincing myself I don't feel them. It's not just like I don't want to tell anybody, it's just that I've convinced myself it's not really a problem. So I've noticed that, like, I'm really lonely in recovery sometimes. I'm a really, really good listener, and I really, really care about people. So when a person comes to me with their problems, I genuinely listen and I care. And if you need to talk to me for 2 hours, like, I'll listen. If you want my suggestion, I'll give it. If you just want to talk to get it out, you don't want me to say anything, I can do that too. And I do that with a lot of people. But sometimes I feel like people don't really want to hear what's going on with me. And I don't want to call somebody and be like, oh, here's how I'm feeling, or I don't mind when it's something big, but just to tell somebody, like, I'm feeling lonely, like, it seems silly sometimes to, like, reach out and tell somebody that, because I don't know. I feel like it's not a big enough deal to talk to other people about. So, like, sometimes I feel very alone. And it's not to say that I go to meetings, recovery meetings in real life. I do stuff online in recovery. I'm very, very involved. It's not like I sit at home by myself all day long, but I do work from home. Most of the work I do is on the computer, so I don't interact with other people on a regular basis. So a lot of my interactions with people come from people I associate with in recovery. I don't know. I just feel like I don't have that Michelle. That's the best way I can say it. Like, I don't have Michelle. And I don't know. I feel like I don't know that I could ever have that kind of ride or die friend in recovery again. Like, when one of us would have something would trigger us or whatever, like, we could call each other. Like, we talked about everything recovery related and real life. But, we both had a strong recovery program, and we both knew, like, what each other's triggers were. Like, I knew that if I didn't hear from her for like a full day, that's because she was having a rough time and she shut off her phone and she was in her room with like the blinds down and she was shutting out the world. And I would go to her house and her husband would literally be like, oh, good, I'm glad you're here. Because he knew that I could be the one to get her out of bed. I told her she had 48 hours. I always gave her 48 hours to like shut herself off from the world. But on that 49th hour, I was coming over and we were getting up, things like that. And she always knew, even if I didn't say anything, how I was feeling. And I think that that's the thing. I think that I haven't let anybody get intimate enough with me to know when I'm saying everything's fine, when, like, maybe I'm thinking it's not. And, like, don't get me wrong, my life is great. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I need to work on. There's a lot of things I need to do. But overall, like, I do have a sense of serenity and peace of mind that, like, I never imagined I could have. And so I don't want to sound ungrateful. But, like, sometimes I wish I had at least somebody besides my boyfriend, because don't get me, my boyfriend's amazing and he listens to everything I have to say. I think sometimes he wish I did talk to other people. In fact, I know he does. it's not his job to listen to every problem or every situation I have. And like, I shouldn't rely on just him for things, right? And that's part of what recovery teaches us. Like, we can't just rely on our partner. So I don't know, like, it's almost makes me like really uncomfortable to even do this video. The only reason I'm even going to upload this is because like I wrote to my patrons like that I was doing this and I was going to upload it. And I did that for accountability because telling people how I really feel about something is really difficult for me. And I know that it would be real easy for me to change my mind and be like, you know what, I'll save this video for another time. I'll record something else. But that's why I'm so grateful that I have patrons, because they help keep me accountable. Just I let them know what's going on with me. I let them know how I'm feeling, and it helps me continue on this channel without like finding excuses for myself. Because when push comes to shove, like, I'm a drug addict. I may not have used drugs in 6.5 years, but that doesn't mean I don't have that way of thinking sometimes. I can fool myself just as easily as I can fool somebody else. And so today I thought I'd just be honest and say I'm lonely. I miss having really close friendships with people. I miss having someone that during the day I can call up and say like, hey, let's go geocaching, or let's go take a walk in the woods, or anything like that. It makes me sad. And I wonder sometimes if I'm ever going to get that back. I don't want to replace my friends, right? Like, I don't want to replace Michelle, because like, she helped me through probably the hardest time of my entire life. And I'll be forever grateful to her for that. I just would like to feel a part of sometimes more than I do. And I imagine a lot of that is just me, like, in my head, and that it's not really anything on the outside. Maybe I am shutting people off. I mean, I must be, right? It can't be that nobody wants to be my friend, because I do have lots of friends, and I do have lots of people, even in recovery, who look to me, who want to talk to me. It's not like nobody calls me, nobody talks to me. I show up to meetings and people are happy to see me. I think it's just that I'm not doing my part in developing a relationship. I'm not doing my part in opening up and being vulnerable and sharing how we really feel about things. And I guess that's something I have to work on changing. I can't just cry and say I'm lonely. I need to take action. I need to reach out, right? Like, I feel like one thing that recovery has taught me is that if I feel some sort of way about something, then I need to consider, what can I do to change that? How can I make it better? I guess it's time to apply those feelings to this, right? If I don't want to be lonely anymore, then I have to let someone in. So thank you guys so much for being part of my world. I appreciate all those who watch my videos and comment. Your comments mean a lot to me. As you guys know, I read every single one and I always respond. It it helps me feel more a part of when I read comments from you guys, when you're like, I relate, or I'm here. Even if, no matter where you live, it's just knowing that when I'm speaking out loud, somebody's hearing it, right? I just want to thank everybody who subscribes to my channel, follows me on Twitter and Instagram. If you don't follow me on Twitter and Instagram and you want to, it's just according to Jexi. It's the same name as my YouTube channel. If you're interested in becoming a patron of mine, like if you want to join my Patreon, the links are down below. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot. I'm a single mom, and finances are really, really tough for me right now. And, every little bit helps. I also do a live stream trivia game on Wednesdays, which is like the most therapeutic thing I think I've ever done. I have a great group of people who come play. Some are in recovery, some aren't. We have a lot of fun together. And yeah, if you haven't checked it out, my replays are up on my channel. If you want to come and play with us live, it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you ever need anything. I got to start reaching out more myself. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you can leave a like on the way out, that would be great. I am like one person away from 400 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible to me. So thank you guys so much for your love and support, and I will see you tomorrow for trivia. Have a great day, everyone.